course, with this breaking news story, we will continue to be updating you right through the 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts. We'll keep you posted as conditions warrant, which is going to be for at least the next 1 to 2 hours. A dangerous situation. Stay tuned for more updates.
How many of these things do we need to empty anyway?
I don't know.
Only got to have enough to build a boat.
Oh.
Be there when TD11 and WLOL present the Land O'Lakes Aquatennial Milk Carton Boat Race at the north end of Lake Nokomis Sunday, July 20th.
Come on, pal. You're going to have to start helping here.
Come on, please. Please.
Some people like the taste of Coke. And some people like the taste of Pepsi. But some people go out of their way for the taste of RC.
I don't believe in marriage.
Jack Nicholson.
Neither do I.
In a story of love.
We're having a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Marriage.
Just keep breathing. You can do it.
I don't want to do it, honey. Can't we get somebody else to do it?
And romantic indigestion. Heartburn.
It's a marriage.
Rated R.
Starts Friday, July 25th at a theater near you.
The pulse quickens. The mouth waters.
No.
Words are spoken incoherently. These are the early warning signs of a Godfather's Pizza emergency.
Pizza! Godfather's
The only instant cure is Hot Slice. New from Godfather's Pizza. Fresh hot pizza by the slice in just minutes.
Oh, Godfather's Pizza!
New Hot Slice at Godfather's Pizza. What are you waiting for?
The $100,000 Pyramid, weeknights at 6:30.
Now, from the action center of the Twin Cities, News 11 with Paul Majors, Kirstin Lindquist, Jeff Passolt on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to toss all formality out the window right now. Just moments ago, we had some amazing pictures from Sky 11.
Incredible
of a tornado moving around. Paul Douglas is right over here right now to bring us up to date. Paul?
Okay, Paul and Kirstin, we want to update you. A tornado warning has been issued for extreme southern portions of Anoka County and northern Ramsey County. Here is the storm that is producing a tornado. This is all hail and very heavy rain. It appears the tornado is right about here in the vicinity of Brooklyn Park. Specifically, this would be in the Brooklyn Park, Anoka Coon Rapids area near Blaine, Spring Lake Park, Lino Lakes. Those are towns in the immediate path of this tornado. Do we have live video from Sky 11? Max Messmer is our Sky 11 pilot, and he is currently up in the vicinity of Brooklyn Park. There was a reported touchdown in Brooklyn Park at 85th and Zane just a few short moments ago. As you can see, there is the tornado. It is indeed on the ground. You can see debris being tossed up, and we want to go live to Max Messmer.
Thousands of feet in the air. There are flash fires on all the high-tension wires. We're about 3/4 of a mile from the actual touchdown at this time. This is really spectacular.
Max, based on what you've seen, what do you estimate the damage to be in the Brooklyn Park area? I mean, obviously this is causing damage.
Another touchdown. I'm going to have to leave this area here. The debris is drifting my way here.
Please do, Max. Please do not endanger yourself here.
All the high-tension wires.
Again, to repeat, where Max is, he is right in the vicinity of Brooklyn Park. Our friends up in Coon Rapids and Fridley should be taking cover immediately. This is not the kind of thing where we're talking about a watch. This is obviously, as you saw, on the ground. Earlier, about 10-15 minutes ago, this is what the funnel looked like before it touched down. It developed right over Brooklyn Park in northeastern Hennepin County. Now, the prevailing winds are pretty much west to east, so the greatest threat right now is for viewers living in southern Anoka and northern Ramsey County. Again, Brooklyn Center, Fridley, Mounds View, White Bear Lake, Coon Rapids, Centerville, Lino Lakes, all those towns, you should be taking cover immediately underneath the stairway in your basement. Offers the greatest protection under some heavy furniture. And do we have the live video? Let's see if we can go back one more time. It is obviously on the ground right now, Paul.
I think what happened is that Max had to move out of the area there, and he has to readjust the signal right now, and that's what's going on. What we're going to do right now is toss to a commercial break. When we come back, hopefully Max and Sky 11 will be in a position to give us another glimpse of that, because we'd like to obviously find out if there's been any damage at this point. Max, needless to say, has had a bird's eye view. We're going to take, actually right now,
we have another
coming up in 5 seconds, they tell us, so we can all take a look at this thing live as it's coming up right here. Max, as I said, as you heard Paul talking to him, and Max himself, there's the new picture right there.
It would appear, if this is correct, that this is a tornado in the dying stage, but
Max,
obviously still very dangerous.
Max, can you hear us, Max? Max Messmer, this is Paul Majors in the studio. Can you hear us?
I think he has his hands full, just
he's
flying right now,
problems.
Paul.
You saw this. Max,
it is on the ground. It is most definitely on the ground. I would estimate, just looking at the video and the debris, that the winds are probably 200, 250 miles an hour. Again, it appears that this is in the Brooklyn Park, Coon Rapids.
35W right there, Paul.
Okay.
The interstate.
This is live video.
Hooey.
And Max is a little closer to that than I'd like him to be at the moment.
The flash that you saw as this picture just came up is the high-tension wires.
That's right.
Max was talking about the flash fires on high-tension lines, and that's what we saw as that picture first started.
We should reiterate again, Paul, people in southern Anoka County and northern Ramsey County, you are under the gun. There is the tornado right about there. This is the cell producing the tornado. Currently, Max is right about here. The cell is drifting to the east. Folks, again, in Coon Rapids, Fridley, White Bear Lake, Lino Lakes are in the path of this storm. You should take cover immediately. If you have to, take a radio or a TV down to the basement with you, but for goodness sakes, stay away from windows and get inside, get underneath something. If you don't have a basement, the safest place is on the ground floor, a small room like a closet. A bathtub offers a lot of protection. A lot of people have survived tornadoes by climbing into their bathtubs, putting a mattress on top of them. For goodness sakes, please take it seriously. I'm sure there have been some injuries and some very serious damage just looking at the video we just saw, Paul.
Here's another picture up right now, Paul. Max is trying to, again, get into position where he's in a safe position to give us a picture of this thing. And what you're seeing here is the helicopter turning around and obviously the camera operator there trying to do the same thing. I have a question for you, Paul, before we go away and try and establish a picture again. How long can this thing remain up in the air? Will this thing travel over into Wisconsin? We have another picture coming up right now, they're telling us. Here it is.
It is most definitely on the ground, as you can see.
35W right there.
What a frightening sight.
To answer your question, Paul, these can last anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours. The average tornado in Minnesota lasts about 20 minutes or so. This looks like a much more dangerous tornado. This could easily go on for another 15, 20, maybe even 30 or 40 minutes. There you saw another high-tension wire being hit.
Now, I have a question. Did we have a warning up on the air about... There are the flash lines right there, the high-tension lines flashing right there.
We are not even under a watch, technically. There is a severe storm watch west of the cities.
How did this happen then?
It just developed directly overhead. We had 93-degree heat. The dew point is up around 78. The atmosphere is just explosively unstable, and it just erupted in the past couple of minutes over extreme northeastern Hennepin County. Again, it's moving east. That is a dangerous tornado. On a scale, they rate them from a F1 to F5, F5 being a catastrophic tornado, F1 being a minor tornado. That appears like that's an F2 or an F3, which would mean wind speeds in excess of 225, 250 miles an hour. Obviously, if that comes through your neighborhood, it's going to produce total devastation.
The area right here, Paul, by the way, apparently I've just been told by our producer, is Brooklyn Park. This is about a half a mile away from the original touchdown site.
And, Paul, there is a tornado warning up for eastern Hennepin, southern Anoka, and Ramsey County. Again, off the teletype at 4:50, law enforcement personnel reported a tornado on the ground in Brooklyn Center. And it is still on the ground.
Now they're telling us, Paul,
Fridley.
it's Fridley. This is now east of the Mississippi River in Anoka County.
Paul, how long has it been? Can you remember a tornado like this in our area in any time in the recent past?
Frankly, the last big one was the Fridley outbreak back in 1965, so it's almost like deja vu.
This is Fridley again, right here, right now. That's what you're looking at.
And for God's sakes, we have been accused in the media of overhyping things from time to time. This is not hype, folks. This is a potentially deadly situation. For God's sakes, get yourself to the basement if you live in southern Anoka or northern Ramsey County. It is a very dangerous tornado, as you can see. This is not just a little garden variety twister that touches down and lasts for 2 or 3 minutes. This is a killer tornado, and it is now moving across extreme southern Anoka County. Again, towns in the path: Mounds View, White Bear Lake, Spring Lake Park, Lino Lakes, Centerville. They are under the gun, and you should be moving to the basement immediately, underneath the stairwell, under a heavy piece of furniture. I have never seen anything like this, Paul and Kirstin.
Yeah, it is an incredible sight to see. Thankfully, from what we've been able to see live here lately, it looks as though we've gone through basically an area without that many homes and
let's just
people in the
Let's see a building there, though, behind it. Doesn't that look like a building?
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep Max a safe distance away from this thing. I'm a little worried about turbulence all around the tornado.
He's probably being quite judicious at this point about his location.
We're told now this is about a half-mile east of the Mississippi River, this tornado.
This is just unbelievable. And you can see it is still most definitely on the ground. This is not a funnel. This is a tornado. Let's update Doppler real quickly here and show you exactly where the tornado is again on the map, if we can. Here is the cell. There is Fridley. There is the tornado. The entire cell is moving east at about 20 miles an hour. Our friends in northern Ramsey, and especially south central and southeastern Anoka County, and even northern and central Washington County, are really in danger, and they should be taking appropriate measures even as we speak. If you have to, turn off the TV set, go down into the basement, and please be very careful over the next 20-30 minutes. Paul?
All right, one thing we want to point out as well is Max Messmer has phoned in here via radio, and he assures us he is in a very safe position. He's a very skilled pilot, so if you're home worrying about Max, you can a little bit, but don't get overly concerned. Max is a very, very cautious pilot. He obviously does a very good job. And
we have some more information now, don't we?
Right. Mary Stuckey is in the newsroom. She's been making phone calls on some of the damage. Mary, what have you been able to find out? Susan Wiese.
Right. Paul and Kirstin, I've been checking with hospitals in the area, specifically Unity Hospital and Mercy Medical Center. And ambulance crews are in the area and on the ground. They're there waiting just to see what injuries might develop. So far, we have no reports of injuries, but of course there may and could be some. Police, too, are moving into the area to offer extra help in the need that someone does need additional guidance and direction in this kind of an emergency. Paul and Kirstin?
So, Susan, I guess at this point, then, what you're telling us is hospitals in that area have not received any people that have been injured by this thing.
No, not yet, but all of them have put their tornado emergency standards into effect right now. They're ready, they're standing by, waiting in the event injuries do occur.
All right.
Susan, has anybody checked on whether there are any residential areas that are directly in danger at this moment?
Right now, Mary Stuckey and I shortly will be checking on that again. Right now, we do not know, based on the path of the tornado, who most likely could be hit.
Paul?
Yes, Paul.
I am most concerned about people living in mobile homes at this point. In southern Anoka and northern Ramsey County, a house offers quite a bit of protection in the event of a tornado, especially if you have a basement. But for goodness sakes, if you're watching from a mobile home park, if you live in a trailer in southern Anoka County or northern Ramsey County, get out of it, get into a pre-designated shelter. Take this seriously. This is the real thing. You can see that is unbelievable. Winds probably in excess of 200 miles an hour. Obviously, unless your house is tied down, it appears the tornado has actually slowed down almost to a creep.
The producer just told us, Paul, that Max radioed in and said the tornado, it appears to be stationary right now. It's just west of Highway 65 in Fridley, but he says it appears to be stationary. Folks, we're not going to break away. We're going to continue looking at this, and because of that, we need to take care of some business as you look at it. Scott Stahowiak is our producer. Scott, if you can, try and establish some communications with Max so that we could maybe get his voice on the air. I assume you've been working on that, but that would be nice to have his presence since he is there and seeing this thing firsthand.
Scott says he'll try.
Yeah.
Paul, again, to reiterate, a basement under the stairs, under a heavy piece of furniture, not the southwestern corner, underneath the stairs in your basement. If you live in southern Anoka or northern Ramsey or extreme northeastern Hennepin County, you should be in the basement.
Paul,
now.
Can you tell us anything about what might motivate that tornado to move in a certain direction? If it's stationary now, what might cause it to move on?
Frankly, the upper level winds, the jet stream winds, are very light. And the reason we have a tornado developing at all is because the atmosphere is incredibly unstable. It's very hot and humid near the ground and relatively cold aloft. But the upper winds are light, and so that would cause the tornado to move at a very slow rate of speed.
Max is changing his position here, as you can probably tell at home.
I want him to stay far enough away from that thing. These things can redevelop, and they can be extremely fickle. I'd feel a little more comfortable if he was farther away from that thing. As you can see, it is still on the ground. This is not a funnel, folks. This is actually on the ground, producing damage. And here is an update. There is the tornado located in extreme southern Anoka County, about to move into perhaps extreme northwestern Ramsey County. If you live in White Bear Lake, if you live in Lino Lakes, Centerville, Spring Lake Park, you should be in the basement right now. The storm is moving pretty much due east. It has slowed down to just a crawl at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, but it is on the ground, a very, very dangerous situation. Paul, Kirstin?
All right, there again we have live picture. It sounds like we may have audio from Max. Max, can you hear us?
1, 2, 3, 4.
There you are, Max.
Test. 1, 2, 3, 4. How do you read?
Max, we hear you fine. Now, Max, can you hear us?
I can hear you 5 by 5. Go right ahead.
All right, Max, the question I have for you, have any buildings been damaged at this point? What have you seen?
It is possible. However, I have not been able to go out west to check that out. Right now, the tornado is located over a wooded area, and it is tearing up trees, and it's ripping entire pine trees into the air, thousands of feet. I don't know if it has damaged any houses. I won't be able to find out until later on.
Max, how far has this tornado traveled?
It seems fairly stationary. I've been here for about 10 minutes, and during this time it has traveled less than a half a mile. It is moving east at a very slow pace. It is still over a wooded area. However, it is approaching a major north-south highway just east of 65. The tornado is located about 2 miles west of Anoka County Airport at this time.
Max, do you have any way of guessing what the winds are?
I am within, I'm about a half a mile from the touchdown area right now, and the winds are very gusty, but not excessive. I would say 30 to 40 knots at the most. There's heavy rain and lightning in the area.
You also hear the noise, you hear that pinging sound. Max, that's apparently rain hitting your bubble on the helicopter, is that correct?
That is correct. It is raining on and off very heavily. And it looks like right now we have another touchdown here.
These things come in cycles, Paul and Kirstin. They touch down, they last for 5-10 minutes, and then they can weaken, and then they can redevelop again. So just because it looks like on your screen that it seems to be dissipating, we're certainly not out of the woods just yet. This thing can continue to redevelop for the next 20, 30, 40 minutes as it moves across southern Anoka County. And it would appear that it's still, what, in the vicinity of Fridley. I'm trying to get my geography here, exactly where that is.
Max, can you still hear us?
I think we've lost audio with Max here momentarily.
It would appear, though, that it is now moving out of the woods and towards a more densely populated area, and I just pray that those folks have taken cover.
Can Max hear us now? Max, you can hear us, can't you?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Max can't hear us, folks, but as you're sitting at home, you can hear those hums. Those are interruptions in the signal from Max to our transmitter, and that's why on occasion, like right now, it sounds dead. You don't even hear the helicopter. In those periods of time, we can't communicate with Max, obviously. Here he is up again. Max?
Yes, I hear you. Do you read me, Paul?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, it seems to have subsided for a minute right now, but this has happened before, and it was just a matter of time before it touched down again here, so I'm going to stay in the area and see what happens.
Yeah, please stay in the area. Obviously, Max, the question we have for you, what area are you in at this given moment?
I know you would ask me some embarrassing questions here. Unfortunately, I've been watching the tornado instead of where I'm going.
Mm-hmm. Well, keep your eyes on the tornado.
I'll let you know in just a second. Hold on.
It does look like the Fridley area.
Yeah, it seems to be not residential area, but more industrial based.
We have a report of a second tornado west of 100 and 694. This is still unconfirmed, too, but obviously the real threat is in this particular area. The storm again moving east, and people in southern Anoka and northern Ramsey County should take cover immediately. The tornado's still on the ground. Here's an update from the newsroom with Susan Wiese.
I'm here in the newsroom, Paul, and we've been in touch with both police and some of the ambulance crews in the area. Again, so far, there are no official confirmations of touchdowns or of injuries, yet ambulance crews are standing by and police are on their way. We should tell you also that NSP has sent crews into the area right now to assess damage there. Of course, there must be some downed power lines. Also, Northwestern Bell Telephone is asking its customers to refrain from using their telephones, especially if they're wanting to call into the suburbs of Shoreview, of Moundsview, of Brooklyn Park, of Brooklyn Center, of Plymouth, New Hope. Any of the northern suburbs. Again, phone users, please refrain from making calls into the area. Those telephones are going to be needed in the event there are injuries. Paul?
Paul, we should point out perhaps to people, Paul, that this is not as slickly produced as perhaps a normal newscast. We are literally flying at the cuff.
It's live television. Here's another picture from Max right now.
Yeah, Scott, our producer, tells us that Max is now at the corner of Highway 10 and 47 in Fridley.
And towns that would be in the path, again, would be Moundsview, Spring Lake Park, places like Shoreview, northern Ramsey County, especially northwestern Ramsey County, and south central and southeastern Anoka County. That is still one impressive tornado.
Now that's the funnel cloud up in the air at
that
this
is
point.
You're right, at the base of the cloud. That is the wall cloud, the tornado developing, protruding from the base of that wall cloud.
So it heads back up there and builds up its energy and then drops back down? Is that the way it is?
Exactly right. It starts aloft and it works its way down to the ground.
Is there any way to time, Paul, when it might come down again?
There really isn't. You're really at the mercy of Mother Nature here. Again, the storm right now located in the vicinity of Fridley, Moundsview, moving east. It's slowed down only 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tornado warnings in effect right now for southern Anoka, northern Ramsey, and a part of northeastern Hennepin County, but it appears the real threat right now is in the vicinity of Fridley, Moundsview, towards Lino Lakes, Centerville, and Spring Lake Park.
Now, Paul, the tornadoes always appear at the end of the storm cell, is that correct?
Usually. I hate to use the word always, but usually at the tail end. And this is a perfect example. This is all rain and hail. The tornado is right here, and it doesn't look that ominous on Doppler. So we see some live video.
Picture of some damage right now. You see a trailer, a semi-trailer on its side there. It appears the roof of that building is torn off. Some kind of trucking company there. Now, frankly, folks, we don't know where this is, other than in the Fridley area. Max, can you hear us? We can barely faintly hear Max's voice.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make contact.
Be careful. There's got all kinds of shit in the air here, and it's got pine trees and stuff here, and I just hit something, so be kind of careful.
I think, Max, at this point, we're told by our producer, is talking to the flight control tower right now.
Just behind me.
Again, you're looking at...
That's where it's been touching.
It's like a railroad yard or something, isn't it?
And of course, Max is very concerned, Paul and Kirstin, about debris in the air. When a tornado comes through, you have tons of debris being thrown up into the air.
My question to you, Paul, though, about tornadoes generally appearing near the end of the storm cell, those people who are at the head of that storm cell are going to see rain, they're going to see winds, and that's ample warning for them to probably get right down to the basement right now. This is...
Exactly. If you live in southern Anoka County or northern Ramsey County, you should be in the basement right now. Don't wait for the thing to be on top of you. But usually it's rain, and then hail, and then a little lull in the storm, and then the tornado at the tail end. It can even be brightening up, and then bang, the tornado comes.
Max has just reported that he does not see a funnel cloud anymore, that it appears the tornado has subsided, Paul.
Okay, at least for the time being, it is still a very dangerous storm, and something could still fall out of the storm over the next 15, 20, 30 minutes. We'll have to watch it very closely. Currently, Max and the dissipated tornado for now in extreme southern Anoka County near Fridley, south of Coon Rapids. This is the threat area, southern Anoka County and northern Ramsey County for at least the next 30 minutes, for goodness sakes. If threatening weather approaches, move to a place of safety immediately. Paul?
All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do right now is go back into the newsroom with Susan Weesey. She's been working in conjunction with Mary Stuckey, getting as much information about what's gone on in relation to the tornado. And they're in the newsroom now with an update for us.
Paul and Kirstin, again, we're frantically making phone calls here in the newsroom, trying to find out if there are injuries and if there are confirmations of a tornado touchdown. So far, we have not been able to receive that. But what police are telling us is, and that they're asking, that no one, if they do not have to, make telephone calls into the northern suburbs. These suburbs include Champlin, Fridley, Maple Grove, Moundsview, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Coon Rapids, and these communities north of the Twin Cities. Again, There are telephone lines down. The lines that are up and are remaining, we do not want them jammed because we want to use them for emergency purposes only. It was in 1965 in Fridley that a tornado touched down, and then in April 1984 in Mounds View where a tornado touched down. So the areas again affected are similar to areas in years past. 2 years ago, or it was, 2 years ago in Mounds View, there was one person dead and some 50 people injured, and in Fridley in 1965 there were also injuries there. Now let's go back to the studio.
All right, Susan, thank you very much. You have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, there really have been no injuries reported so far, is that right?
We are checking. There are lots of tornado spotters in the area. There are lots of ambulance crews, police, and sheriff's deputies in the areas checking for these kinds of things, but so far we have no evidence of injuries. Let's hope that turns out to be the case.
Absolutely.
All right. Scott, our producer in the booth, if you could get on the radio to Max and have him pan back to those black clouds up there so that maybe we could get Paul Douglas's opinion on what those clouds are all about. Again, folks, this is all live.
This isn't something you plan for. We're going by the seat of the pants at this point, Paul.
Lightning.
Some lightning there. We also...
Max is saying it's pretty hard to fly right now because there's an awful lot of debris in the air, and of course if any of that debris hits the helicopter, it could be devastating for Max.
Right now, Max is trying to make his way to some areas where apparently there has been some damage.
Now that is rain and hail off to the northeast from the storm. There is the danger area, it would appear. That looks like the tail end of the storm. That is, I believe, where the tornado dropped out of just moments ago.
We'd like to mention that photographer Tom Empy has been taking all these dramatic pictures for you this afternoon.
We're just told that the area that you see in the picture right now is the Anoka County Airport area. That is the area that you see on your screen right now.
Boy, it's a threatening sky, too, isn't it?
Paul and Kirstin, in Oklahoma City, helicopters are routinely dispatched to cover these tornadoes when they approach metro Oklahoma City. But this is the first time, certainly, that I can ever remember that we've had live coverage of a tornado as it's happening.
Scott Stahoyak, our producer in the booth. Again, Max at this point does not see a funnel cloud in the air. He's going to relay that to Max right now.
Paul and Kirstin,
yeah,
I am... what you're looking at right now is an area 1 to 2 miles east of the Anoka County Airport. It looks very dark and ominous, and there's a lot of lightning, but I don't see a touchdown at this time.
You see a funnel cloud at this point, Max?
No, I do not. I do not see a funnel cloud. There's lots of lightning, and it's very dark, but I do not see a funnel cloud anywhere at this time.
That is the wall cloud right there, Paul.
You know, Max, is there a green tinge to the light there? We've heard so much about the green associated with a tornado.
Well, that is correct. You do have a green tinge here, and it looks, like I say, it looks ominous, but I don't see it funnel at this time.
Max, are there strong winds in that area right now? Do your instruments read any strong winds?
Yes, sir. It is very gusty at this time, and it's. I would say the winds are 30 knots, gusting to 50 and 60 right here. It's very bouncy right around here.
And Paul Douglas, presumably those would be straight line winds?
It would be pretty much straight line winds at the beginning of the storm where the rain and hail is. At this point, this would just be turbulence right around the wall cloud. It's just a giant vacuum cleaner. It's sucking air right into the center of the wall cloud, and the air is going up through the thunderhead. And it's right under that wall cloud that you have the funnel vortex developing. It would appear that the danger is over for now, but I really want to qualify that because this is still a very severe thunderstorm, and this parent thunderhead could still spawn another tornado or a funnel as it continues eastbound. It hasn't moved much at all. There is Max right in the vicinity of Fridley. Here is the hail and the very heavy rain. This would appear to be the threat area in extreme south-central, southeastern Anoka County and northern Ramsey County. Again, places like Mounds View, Spring Lake Park, Lino Lake, Centerville, White Bear Lake, still a dangerous situation. We are not issuing an all clear, even though it appears that the funnel is now lifted back up into the wall cloud. We're going to have to watch it very carefully for at least the next 20, 30 minutes here, Paul and Kirstin.
I think we're trying to bring up another live picture here.
Yeah, you are looking at a live picture. That's how dark that area is right now. You can see the ground finally, which gives you some perspective as to what you're looking at.
At about 1:30, Paul and Kirstin, we issued a statement that it was conceivable that there could be hail, damaging winds, and even a few small tornadoes. But the real threat, frankly, was west of the cities. This stuff developed literally in about 2 or 3 minutes. We got a report on the scanner, on the police scanner
we have in
the office, in the newsroom, that there was indeed a touchdown. We knew a storm was there, but frankly, I'll be honest, we had no idea the potential with that storm.
And you have to assume that everybody was caught off guard. The National Weather Service?
To a certain extent, the warnings got on the air about a good 10 minutes or so after the initial touchdown. We got on the air at about, I'd say about 4:50 or so.
Well, the bottom line is this. It surprised everybody with its appearance. It came out of nowhere. The bottom line is it may be up in the clouds right now.
But Max reports he doesn't see any more funnels at this time.
Yeah, but I guess the point is that no one knows when it's capable of dropping back down. And as Paul mentioned earlier, it goes up, builds up a little energy, and at any point can come back down, correct?
Exactly right. In fact, we have a sequence, Paul. We want to show you what all this looked like, the development of this severe thunderstorm that produced a tornado. This is since about 11 o'clock this morning. You can see the real threat area was west of the cities. This is where reports of very heavy rain and lots of lightning. St. Cloud was hit hard at about 3 this afternoon. And then watch. Over the past couple of hours, some huge thunderstorms began to develop over extreme northeastern parts of Hennepin County. The real threat areas to the north, it was just an isolated cell, and this is the one that did produce the tornado. Again, we're going to have to watch it very carefully. The threat is not over for folks living in southern Anoka and northern Ramsey County. Paul, Kirstin?
All right, Paul, thank you very much. I'll tell you what, we will continue to keep you posted on this story as the story and the situation warrants. We also want to assure you that Max Messmer and Tom Empy, the photographer inside of Sky 11, they're safe, they're fine. Max is a very skilled pilot. He knows how to use those skills. He also has a lot of common sense. So if you're at home thinking we're risking their lives, granted, there's always a little bit of jeopardy in everything that anybody does, even crossing the street, but we assure you, Max's common sense overrides any stupidity in his body.
Now back to Paul for a moment.
Okay, we should, again, reiterate, there is still a tornado warning in effect for at least the next 20-30 minutes for southern Anoka, northern Ramsey, and northeastern Hennepin. It would appear the greatest threat right now is over southern Anoka County. Yes, the funnel seems to have dissipated, but this is still a severe thunderstorm, and we still have all the ingredients for perhaps reformation of a tornado over the next 15 to 20 minutes. If you live in southern Anoka County, you should be in the basement right now. Paul, Kirstin?
All right, Paul. NBC Nightly News is coming up next, but folks, if this thing redevelops, we will not hesitate to break in.
Our newsroom is very busy right now. That's it for now, though.
We'll be back at 6, if not earlier.